Hey, you guys, what is going on? It seems like it's been a while since I've done a video on here. So it's nice to be back and it's nice to be with you. Hope everyone's been good since the last time I posted. And just a small, very small batch of records to show on this video. I really haven't been going to the vinyl stores as of lately. There's just been other priorities in life. So I did a small dig a couple of weeks ago just to get the feeling back, and it was nice to dig again. Hopefully, in the next coming week or so, I can make it out to a vinyl store again because that was a lot of fun just to do it for a couple hours on one Saturday a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to show you just the very tiny stack of records I got in that little dig. So let's go. This is from Rush, and this is the 40th anniversary pick disc pressing of Signals. And very happy to have scored this. I would have liked to have gotten the box set for the 40th anniversary and remastering of Signals because it's a great album. Underrated Rush album, one that doesn't really get talked about all that much, even though the song Subdivisions is on that record, and so is New World Man, The Weapon. It's a good album, really good album, and underrated Rush album, because everybody talks about Moving Pictures and 2112, and this one gets overlooked, and that's too bad. But anyway, I wanted to go for the box set of this, because I was real excited when they announced that this was going to come out, this remastering of this album. Until I saw what was included in the box set, it was real expensive, number one, but what's included is cool, don't get me wrong. But they didn't put any live material, live recordings, in this box set like they've done in some of the ones in the past from Rush. And that kind of bummed me out a little bit because I was really looking forward to live records, live recordings from that tour, the Signals tour. Unfortunately, it was the remastered album plus I think some 7-inch singles from the album and other little goodies that they put in there. I mean, what is in there looks really cool, but but they left out the live recordings, and that really bummed me out. So, but I still wanted something from that album since it was going to be. I was excited that at least it was going to get a remaster. I'm going to take it out of the sleeve here so I can show you how it looks. The remastering of this sounds really good. And for a picture disc, this plays really well. So, really, and I love the artwork, the new artwork for it. That looks really nice. And of course, here's the back. Also looks very nice. I only had one. A lot of these Rush albums in my collection, I have these multiple pressings of the albums. Signals is probably the only one where I only have one. And it was a used record I found in a shop back in the 80s. Late 80s, actually, when CDs were pretty much taken over. And I found it used for like, $3 or $4 or whatever. And I've kept that copy of the album ever since then, and that has been my only copy of Signals on vinyl up until this. So maybe if I see the box set discounted or a used copy of the box set, I'll go for it. Hopefully everything's still inside the box. But this remastering sounds pretty good. In fact, it sounds great, and I'm really happy. I bought this at Barnes & Noble, this pick disc, and the reason it's hard to get it out of this sleeve I put it in is because when I bought it from Barnes & Noble, they put tape all around here, and up here, and even over the hype sticker. And when I tried to take the tape off, I think I might have taken a little bit of it might have got a little, no, I guess I did it pretty cleanly. But I hate when stores, now we're talking big box retail, when they put tape over everything. That drives me up a freaking wall. Sometimes Amoeba will do it too. Some of the stores I go to, like in Berkeley and San Francisco, they'll do that too, and it just drives me nuts. And I'm spending forever taking, like they just wrap it all over the place in tape, especially an item like this. And oh, I hate that so much. Like, I can still kind of feel this, the adhesive. I never like that. That's just me bitching out loud. But anyway, this is an excellent remaster. It sounds fantastic, and this really is a great underrated Rush album. I guess for big Rush fans, it's not underrated, but as far as the hipsters, when they want to buy a Rush album, they usually go, like I said, 2112, Moving Pictures, and this one always gets skipped over, and that's too bad because there's some amazing music on this, and I really enjoy listening to it. So I'm glad at least I put a second pressing of Signals into my Rush collection. Very cool to have that. Now here is yet another pressing of this album. But I was very curious about this. Van Halen 1984, also a remaster. Now this one was done from Bernie Grundman mastering. Bernie Grundman was not the one who did this, but it's from Bernie Grundman mastering. And another press I bought of these remasters was Van Halen 2, and that sounds fantastic, as does this, because this is one of my favorite Van Halen albums. I remember when this was brand new, and I was in the 8th grade when this came out, and my brother had the cassette, and every time I went riding around with him in his car, we would bump this album. It was one of my favorite albums to listen to in my brother's car. I absolutely loved this album, and I would later buy it on cassette for myself. Then when CDs were real popular, bought on CD, got a vinyl collection together, so I bought different pressings of it. I had the Japanese pressing, US pressing, now this remaster. And I've never heard it sound better. Bass punches like you would not believe. It is very strong, powerful bass. But the mids and the highs, like Eddie's guitar, the cymbals, the vocals, the keyboards on 2 of the songs, the clearest I've ever heard it. The cleanest I've ever heard it. A great remix. Well, not a remix, but a great remaster, sorry. There's a label. Not much of a label, but but the audio sounds really, really good. I'm really impressed with these remasters they're doing of the older Van Halen albums. So I've only seen, I've seen 3 in the wild. I've seen Van Halen 1, but I'm not really that. Though I like Van Halen 1, I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of it. Because I'm so tired of hearing Running with the Devil and You Really Got Me and Ain't Talking About Love. And Ice Cream Man just gets on my nerves now, so there's no way I'm going to buy a remaster of that. But I love Van Halen 2 and I love this album, even though Jump in Panama gets played way too much. It's still a great album, and this remastering is just absolutely fantastic. It is such a huge upgrade from what I'm used to. So so glad I got this in Van Halen 2. Sounds great on my stereo system. It really does. So very happy I got the Van Halen remaster. Because that's a killer album. Remaster or not, that's a killer album. But especially the drum sound. I love the drum sound on Alex's drums on 1984. Probably the best drum sound he's ever gotten, in my opinion. The best drum sound he's ever gotten on all the Van Halen albums is that one. The drums sound really cool on that album. They sounded good on For an Awful Call of Knowledge too, and but as far as drum sound only, 84 is my favorite. All right, let's move on to something else now. Now I'm getting off the subject here. This is another remaster that sounds real impressive that I really like, and it's the debut album from 1982 from the Flock of Seagulls. Their debut album from 1982, and this is a remaster of it. I've never owned this album, period, on any format. This is the first time I ever bought it. You think I would, being a vinyl collector and loving 80s music, you think I would have had this by now. But I only knew 2 songs on this, which of course is I Ran and Space Age Love Song. I think were the only 2 songs I was familiar with on this album. The rest of it I was not familiar with, and I really dig this album. This is a great album. And it's on colored vinyl, remastered, and it's on colored vinyl, orange vinyl. There we go. I like the labels. Really cool looking labels. Goes well with the orange vinyl. That blue pops. And a different color on the other side. Real nice looking record. And it sounds fantastic too. Remastered, like I said. And when I was originally digging, I had no intention to buy this. But they were playing this album over the speakers inside the record store as I was digging, and I found myself just vibing to every single song. And like 20 minutes later, I realized I hadn't heard a song I didn't like yet. And I knew it was Flock of Seagulls because they played I Ran and Space Age Love Song. But the other songs I was unfamiliar with sounded great too. So as I'm digging, I just thought to myself, you know what, this album sounds pretty damn good. So I looked for it. Of course, they had a used copy for a couple bucks, like $3, $4. But this looked interesting to me. This was like $25. It was brand new, and I saw that it was a remastered, and it was on an exclusive colored vinyl. And I thought, you know what, from what I've heard since I've been digging, I think it's worth $25. And it'd be nice to have an updated audio pressing of it. So I really dig this album. I really dig it. The whole thing. I've listened to this thing in its entirety 3 times now. Because this was one album I don't fast track just to the songs I like, and that's it. I actually listened to the whole freaking thing, and always entertained. So this was a great buy. Well worth the $25. And it's nice to have, a colored vinyl copy. Real nice pressing of it. Alright, here's reliving the childhood. The days of growing up in the hood. This was one of my favorite albums back in the, I guess it was 83 or 84 when this came out. 83, yeah. Kool and the Gang, In the Heart. I bought this for the song Tonight. A really cool kind of rock / R&B / pop song is the song Tonight. One of my favorites from Kool and the Gang. It's a great song. But the big single on this song, without a doubt, was Joanna. And I always thought it was an okay song. It wasn't the reason I wanted to buy the vinyl. But when I started spinning this and listening to Joanna, I thought, okay, here we go again, Joanna. But it actually sounds pretty cool, and I found myself really digging the song a lot, more so than I did back in the day. I mean, I thought it was an okay song back in the day, but I didn't care. But I guess as you get older, there are certain things you tend to appreciate more as you get older, I guess. But anyway, original insert, and it even comes with a contest form where you fill this out and you have a chance to win a Kool and the Gang tour jacket from 83, 84. So I like seeing these authentic old school things. Pretty nice. And it's on Delight Records. Very nice. Very cool album. I'm not really a big fan of the slow songs that are on this album. But the up-tempo, faster songs are really good. The dance songs, they're really good. This was a fun record to spin. Like I said, I kind of tuned out the slow ballady songs. But, yeah, the fast songs were cool. This band knew how to groove, that's for sure. They were one of my favorite bands when I was just a kid. Before I even took an interest in playing music and being a drummer. I was a big fan of this band. And my brothers and my sister, they had all their albums. This was one that I remember they had because I just remember the cover. And the song Joanna. They were such a cool band. They were one of my favorites. And I wish the original lineup was still touring. But, oh well. Things change as people get older and can't do what they used to do. But we still have the music, we still have the records, and this was a fun one to have just for memory's sakes. Real happy. Alright, I'm going to show you a couple of 12-inch singles. This was no doubt one of my favorite albums back when I was 18 years old, back in 1988. I had this album on cassette, and I played that cassette hundreds, or if not thousands of times. My God, I was addicted to this record. So to find a 12-inch single from this album is a rarity, and this is one of my favorite songs on the records from Queensryche. The song is I Don't Believe in Love. This from the album Operation Mindcrime. There's all the artwork from the album. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. I don't get tired of listening to Operation Mindcrime ever. I mean, all these years later, I still dig this album. I wish the band was still together. I do wish the band was still together, but oh well. Great album, great single. The song is amazing, and it is on the EMI label. There we go. Record could be in better shape, cover can be in better shape, but just the fact that I found a 12-inch single from this album is really cool. They have an edited version of I Don't Believe in Love on side 1, and then the album version, which is like a minute longer, on side 2. So, same song on both sides. One's edited for radio, one is the extended album version. I'm telling you, Scott Rockenfield is the drummer in this band, or was the drummer, used to be the drummer in this band. And it's this guy right here. Unfortunately, he left the band, and then and all the other members have started dropping off. Well, the first one to drop off was Chris DeGarmo, then the lead singer Jeff Tate, and then the last to leave, and this one broke my heart, was Scott Rockenfield, and he left. And I was like, oh God, there's only 2 original members left in this band, I believe. And the rest are just guys new members that came on. Still a good band, but not quite what they used to be back in this day. So I really don't see them live anymore, because once DeGarmo left, there went all the cool songwriting, because DeGarmo was a great songwriter and a great guitarist. But once Scott Rockenfield left the band, because he was such a drumming hero for me, I love the way this guy plays. I'm sure the guy they have now, who I have no idea who it is, I'm sure the drummer now is fantastic, because he has to be to play these old songs. It's just not the same for me anymore. I mean, they've been in my area a few times. I've never checked them out because I miss this lineup right here. This is the one I would want to see. And anything after that, I saw Queensryche once when they opened for, when they toured with Dream Theater. And Jeff Tate was still in the band, though it might have been the last year or 2 he was in it. And Scott Rockenfield was still in it, so that was cool. But a little bit of the magic was gone. I'm sure if I saw him now without Rockenfield, without Jeff Tate, it just wouldn't feel right. Though they're still a good band now. I have a couple of their records with the new singer. Not quite this lineup, but this is what I fell in love with. So anyway, real glad to have the 12-inch single. Now I'm really going on a rant here. But that was fun years, and that album will always be a favorite of mine. So anytime I find a single from that, I buy it with no questions asked. Last 12-inch single and last record we're going to show is from Ultravox, 12-inch single for Dancing with Tears in My Eyes. This gatefold pressing, really nice. The hype sticker says includes free poster, but sadly there's no poster in it. But relax, it's only Ultravox. Not exactly poster boys. There we go. And one of my favorite songs from this band. I do dig this song. I do dig the band. I saw Midge Ure open for Howard Jones last year. And he played this song during his set. Sounded great. It contains side one has the extended mix of Dancing with Tears in My Eyes on side one, and side two is the album version. And the song Building also on side two. So really good 12-inch single. I had the 7-inch of this, and it I think it was the same track listing. I think the 7-inch was on clear vinyl, if I remember right. And I think it was a small gatefold, but the same artwork and pictures on it. Really cool single. It's just cool to have it as a 12er now. I'm so used to seeing this as a 7-inch single now. Nice to see a big 12-inch cover of it. So really nice. And like I said, I saw Midjor last year with Howard Jones. That guy gave a great show. Even though it was just him on his guitar, he had a keyboard player and they were playing to sequenced music because he couldn't afford to bring a whole live band to America. So he just traveled with himself, a keyboard player, and a drum machine, basically. But it was still a good show. He did a great set. He sounded great. The crowd was really, really into him, and it was just a great night. And then Howard Jones came out and just blew everybody away. But that was a great night. I really want to see him again, but he only tours in Europe. He very rarely comes to America, Midjor. Hopefully he comes again. I'll see him again because that was a fantastic set he did. All right, that's it. That's just my small little batch of records. Just sort of dipping my toe back into the vinyl digging pool. Hopefully the next dig will be a lot bigger. All right, that's gonna do it. Leave me some comments so we can just chat about anything you've seen here. And hope everyone's still spinning. All right, see you in the next one. Later days, boys and girls.